Hi everyone! Today you will all have the honor to listen to me lecture on art from the Byzantine Empire and art from the Proto-Renaissance period. Without further ado, let's begin. Art historians divide the history of Byzantine art into three periods: the early Byzantine, extending from 324 to 726, the Middle Byzantine, taking place from 843 to 1204, and the Late Byzantine, from 1261 to 1453. The style during the Byzantine Empire was almost entirely concerned with a religious expression. The architecture and painting remained almost entirely the same throughout all the eras, uniform and anonymous, and developed with a rigid tradition. After going in depth on a few pieces from each period during the Byzantine Empire, you will come to fully understand what sets apart the Byzantine era from any other, and why it is different from the Proto-Renaissance. Let's get started. The Transfiguration of Jesus mosaic may as well be the poster child for Byzantine art. Everything about it screams Byzantine. The mosaic depicts, as the title states, the transfiguration of Jesus, fully proving that he is the Son of God, by having Moses and Elijah appear beside him, Peter, James, and John. Jesus is, of course, the central image because, let's be real, he always is and always has to be. The artist portrayed the figures to look as if they were floating due to the lack of landscape, rigid figures with no shadows, which is very characteristic Byzantine. The stately figures of the prophets and the static frontality of Jesus set off the frantic terror and astonishment of the signaling disciples. The mosaicists subtracted all substance that might suggest the passage of time or motion through physical space, enabling the devout to contemplate the eternal and motionless world of religious truth. So, let's review a few of the recurring themes thus far. We have seen balanced composition, floating and frontal figures, central location, frequent portrayal of Jesus and religious themes, elongated and unnatural figures, little representation of emotion, limited range of gestures, lack of modeling or depth, no perspective, and the use of gold, especially in the background. Here, we have the Hagia Sophia, characteristic of Byzantine architecture, the Theodora and Attendants mosaic found in San Vitale Church, and the Virgin and Child enthroned in Hagia Sophia. See, what did I tell you? They all look so similar, and for good reason, all Byzantine. Though these features are identifiably Byzantine, many of these attributions are also considered qualities of art from the Proto-Renaissance. Yay! In art history, the term Proto-Renaissance refers to the pre-Renaissance period, ranging from 1300 to 1400 in Italy, and the activities of progressive painters such as Giotto, who pioneered the new form of figurative realism, which was fully developed by artists during the era of Renaissance art. Inherited traditions derived from Christian and Byzantine art was still the predominant style of painting and sculpture. The art of the Proto-Renaissance, like I said before, was still very reminiscent of Byzantine features. It was very focused on religion, had frontal figures, minimal emotion, and golden accents. In Giotto's Madonna Enthroned, Giotto displaced the Byzantine style in Italian painting and revived classical naturalism. His figures have substance, dimensionality, and bulk, and give the illusion they could throw shadows. Although still portrayed against the traditional gold background, Giotto's Madonna rests within her Gothic throne and the unshakable stability of an ancient marble goddess. Giotto replaced Cimabue's slender virgin, fragile beneath the thin ripplings of her drapery, with a weighty, queenly mother. In Giotto's painting, the Madonna's body is not lost, but asserted. Giotto even showed Mary's breasts pressing through her thin fabric of her gown. Gasp! Giotto aimed to construct a figure with substance, dimensionality, and bulk, qualities suppressed in a favor of a spiritual immateriality in Byzantine and Italo-Byzantine art. This piece marked the end of the medieval painting in Italy and the beginning of a new naturalistic approach to art. No wonder they call him the king. You can see here a few other Proto-Renaissance pieces which also embody the characteristics stated above. The beautiful Virgin and Child enthroned with saints by Duccio perfectly depicting the more advanced type of painting during this time with the showing of more emotion, but with the balance of Byzantine influence due to the use of gold and reminiscence of the rigidity of the figures, as well as a lamentation by Giotto, showing much more emotion and pain in the faces of the figures, but also the new usage of dimensionality and perspective. So, for a final review, let's see some Byzantine pieces alongside some Proto-Renaissance works, to be able to fully identify the differences between the two time periods. On the left, we see the mosaic of Justinian and his attendants, the lack of true landscape, frontal, stiff, rigid, and motionless figures, the use of mosaics, its centralized location of Justinian, and the biblical theme is what truly makes it Byzantine. Similarly, on the right, we see Berlinghieri's St. Francis altarpiece, the medium being Temperon wood panel, St. Francis's relaxed gesture, the spiritual natures, and the fact that he's even standing on something and not floating, while it being not a mosaic, clearly demonstrates that this is Proto-Renaissance rather than Byzantine. It's the little things. So, for a final review, just remember this. When you think Byzantine, think rigid, frontal, stiff, floating figures, golden accents, little emotion, no perspective. When you think Proto-Renaissance, think more emotion and individualized expression, more subtle golden accents, realistic gestures, and mosaics are less prevalent. I seriously hope after the amount of times I've said all these characteristics that they're drilled into your head. Thank you so much for paying attention and listening. I hope you enjoyed.